I'd like to thank everyone for this opportunity. We basically will start off by asking each of you to give us a short idea of what you see the future as, the vision that you see for 2030. I'll first like to hear from Mr. Selvam on the government's vision for what 2030 would be, and then we will move on to hearing from our other panelists.
Thank you very much, Irshad. Good evening to all. So 2030, I was going through the Grand View research. This is an article, this is one of the US-based research organization which published a wonderful article. Actually, one is about India, another one is about globe. The first point what they highlight is increase in the global population. Now it is 8 billion, it is going to be 8.5 billion. There is additional 0.5 billion addition in another 4 to 5 years. That is point number one. It means it drives the demand globally and India also. And also that another issue is the migration, that is urbanization you can call it. Across the world, the internal migration, that is movement of people from rural area to urban areas. When urbanization happens fast, the consumption also goes up very well. That is when the rural area, one person may survive with one pair. When they are going to urban area, that is the consumption also increases. That's a point number one. There is an increase in the consumption. It is on fact. We also made a market study. I'll talk about that one. And the second point what they talk is ease of marketing. So even pre-COVID time, we used to go to the shops, we see the design, and we did not have much options to select. Now ease of marketing, online marketing, e-commerce. The e-commerce growth is phenomenal. It is around 300% growth all over the world, even India also. So the ease of marketing is another option which also facilitate faster growth. These two options. And third, and almost now we are all above, I think above 40, everybody is conscious. Before that everybody is having sugar and cholesterol, I think so. And this additionally what happened, it created a massive awareness about the health and wellness program. So everybody is bound to buy more than 2-3 pairs of shoes. That is that awareness about more awareness about the health and wellness program. These three factors makes it the growth pattern is very, very high. And fourth, of course, the technology-driven society, because we are dealing with the Z generation, the generation which are born after 2000 and Z plus generation. They are looking for, actually in company side we know about only CSR. But now it is CSF, that is comfort, style and functionality. These three are provided by the only technologies. This also motivate the youngsters or the population to go and buy new kind of shoes, all those things. These three are very, very crucial factors, CSF. These four parameters says very strongly there is a growth in demand. Right now the footwear sector is around, I can tell the figures, it is $457 billion US. By 2030 the growth is projected to be 588. Additional there would be a growth of 130 billion. That also includes growth from India. So though our internal study we made it from 24 billion to that now 50 billion by 2030. That export growth we want to triple, actually 5.5 to 13.5 or 14 billion, and domestic growth also we want to go to 33 billion. This is a parameters. I think there is a positive side on the side of the footwear industry, and also looking at global phenomena, movement of these sectors. I hope I am taking more time, but this is India only policy. Next, the potential growth sector for this industry is only from India. The sector will be having brighter perspective for another 25 to 30 years. The sector will grow very, very big way in India, keeping all the parameters together. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Dr.
So I represent a public limited company where I am into several divisions, like fertilizer, food, and a lot of other divisions are there, textiles and coffee, tea. But I more concentrate now on footwear. So I meet Dr. Morgan every day. The reason I say the future is very big. I wanted to tell everyone I'm new baby to this industry, just 1 year old and 1.5 years old. But as a corporate leader, as a person who's scoping into a lot of businesses, as a person who's studying industry, as an investment perspective, I see footwear is going to be very big. I have planned to divert huge investments into footwear. Dr. Mohan knows we are planning to invest more than 3,000 to 4,000 crores in down the lane in 2 years. And I also want to share with you my Taiwanese partner, the Shoot-On Group, Mr. Ronjon, the chairman of this company, and we both discussed a lot. And he wants to shift his maximum manufacturing into India, and very important, India to India. And as CLE ED said that the global and the numbers about the growth, I am saying that its maximum is going to be in India. So India to India is going to be very big, and 2030, I'm sure India will be overtaking China. People might think, but it is very important. The industry should cooperate. Industry should feel that they should do that, and Indians should become more aggressive. Chinese are now tired. The confidence on Chinese is gone. They are all applying Indian visas. So India is going to be the future, not only in manufacturing, retail. So now we are bringing in international brand, focusing for 5 years. So it is also what you say, it is up to 2030. So the concept, what I want to tell you, e-commerce. So we are bringing in e-commerce. So only we are expecting the global growth on footwear, and India is going to play a major role. So the industry should also think and take confidence and invest and take it forward.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I spent 20 years of my life in the sportswear industry in India, and first with Reebok and then building Puma. And it was a great journey because Puma went on to become larger than the bigger two brands in India by far. And there was a lot that I can see similarities for what lies ahead of India with some of the things that we did. Speed, doing different things than what everybody else is doing and looking ahead. These are the three things that I think is timeless strategies in business. Having been a part of the global leadership team at Puma, I also saw a lot of changes that is happening. And then I took a decision to invest my own career, my own everything into the line and creating this new company called Agilitas last year. The Indian market is just there for the taking. And creating a company with a very different point of view and a very different approach is what we want to do. We spoke about agility. Agility is in the name of my company, my group company called Agilitas, because it's about actually, which Mr. Suresh also said, how do you really look at consumer trends and how do you convert that into product? The world has absolutely changed. Forget about leather, non-leather today. I mean, I'll have a quick view on that as well. It is about how one can quickly adapt one's entire supply chain and strategy to look ahead. I can tell you that the biggest global brands, if you look in the last couple of years, and of course you know which the top two, they have struggled a lot because of the long supply chain cycle. There are times when in one franchise of products, they've had more than 4.5 billion inventory at COGS. And this I'm talking of some of the top brands. And that is because when there is a change in the demand cycle, then the entire supply chain. I have gone to Vietnam, trust me, and we are talking about sports being an opportunity. I've seen ghost towns. Literally, the factory lines have been empty because people just ramped up during COVID. There was a stimulus package in the US. Suddenly there was growth, and every brand went and blocked capacity. And when the demand came down, it takes almost 2 years for them to correct that. Now, and that's an absolute dangerous situation if you are in the part of the food chain which is called manufacturing. Because you're held hostage to somebody else's creation of demand. And that's super dangerous. Right? And that can actually kill any industry because you can't see it coming. Your destiny is not in your hands. So, and that's where I think business models for future has to be absolutely agile and control as much part of the destiny as possible. People spoke about the India business, and I really feel the India business is about creating brands. I am creating at least 2-3 brands because India is a very vast India. And there are so many opportunities to create brands in India because you control the end-to-end destiny, right? Because if you just do manufacturing for India, I will put a caveat there. I've seen this roll out for a long, long time, that India still the depth of demand per style is very low. It looks very lucrative, but when you have to go down to those depths, yes, there are ways to tackle it. But until and unless you capture the entire value chain of the business, India business can also be a bit of risky business. So I leave it by saying that, India is absolutely up there for the taking. Whether it is manufacturing or brands, it is how you create your business model with agility and forward thinking, futuristic thinking is what will make the cut.
Thanks. One more thing. So do you think, Abhishek, speed will compensate scale? Because on one side, we look at how big the Chinese are, we hear about how much money everyone is spending. It's not encouraging when you've not got that kind of money. How do you match up to that kind of the Chinese? So is there hope for us with speed?
Yeah, I think the two ways to look at it. If you are just servicing a customer who is managing demand, you need to find ways to scale that up. And I think India is an absolutely great position to do that. Everyone's talking about +1 strategy to China. I also believe, that is there still in leather. Leather can never go out of fashion. I've spent decades with a global sportswear ecosystem. Leather can never go out of fashion. It is about what is the new trend using leather products that one creates. Maybe the black and brown, just very, but there is the hybrid products are coming in, where with a very sporty outsole but leather upper. There is Cole Haans of the world have come back on that basis. So I just feel, in terms of looking ahead, what do you innovate? What do you create in your structure so that it solves for both speed and futurism? If you're solving for somebody else, of course you need the scale, and India still has the opportunity. But if there are in a lot of cases where demand is still in a growth market, what one has to, people are saying, let's cater to the domestic market. The domestic market is still shaping up. If the business model is exactly the same of how you do export, I can tell you, this is from my hunch says this will not work. The India market has to be seen in a very different. You cannot predict. You go to a Myntra and a Flipkart, they will say, I need products in two months. I need, not more than 500 per color. Is your setup ready for that? So when I meant agility, I meant in terms of one type of business. Even in manufacturing, of course, there is scale that is required for efficiency. But if you are targeting a growth market like India, speed is key.
Doctor, what's your opinion? In your opinion, does the importance of speed compared to scale and the investment that...
Why I want to be so aggressive in India, I am seeing India as China in another 10 years. So we have to be very fast, and I am sure we are taking a risk. Definitely, you're doing a very huge investments. But in our first project, which I did it in a year, I want to share with you. The 1 year now we have completed 1 million pair. I bought the land on November, and we started on May 26th, and November 28th they started the production. Now now we are in September. I've crossed 1 million pair. The costing, creating a factory, investing on a building, and investing on working capital. If you take a casting for 3 years and you revise it for 8 months or 9 months, so I'm making a big money. If you really work into finance, the more fast. And also I saved more than 100 crores on the development on the infrastructure, because L&T and all other people gave more than 120 crores more. I reduced 100 crores and we completed it, and you can see the infrastructure. Now it is everybody is very happy. So what I want to share, the fast speedness will save more money. What he said is perfectly right. Bringing a brand. Now China, local brand has overtaken Nike, overtaken Adidas. So why a new brand, why can't an Indian local brand can take over, overtake other brands? So we are bringing local brands. So definitely all these strategies will work out. I'm sure of
Thank
that.
you. In terms of from the government side, what can we expect, in your opinion, to help us with the speed? Generally, things are slower in India. We feel there are obstacles. In your opinion, what is the support that we can?
I'll go a little academically also. One is speed and scale, both are complementary to each other. Speed will increase the scale also. That is one issue we have to think. And the second issue, if you look at the generational gap between you and your dad, it would be 30 years. Now with you and your son is not more than 10 years. That is a generation, the very faster generation. The generation is moving very fast. So before coming to government side also, I say that if somebody walks on the ramp in Italy, the next day the design will be available only in China. That is the speed, that was how it worked. If you look at the growth of China from 1990 to 2014, it was 12 to 14% GDP growth, consistently that growth. So it is with the speed it came, and also when the speed comes, automatically scale also comes up. Okay, this is about the overall scenario. If you come to government side, government also understood this issue. It's not only that. At least all over India, now every state government talks about leather and footwear industry. There is a interstate competition among the states to bring the policy for leather and footwear sector. There is so many calls from several state governments to come and bring the investor to my state, and also this is speed actually, because the government side and public side, everybody, they start to understand the importance of this industry and the impact of socio-economic benefit which comes out of this industry, and women empowerment, all those issues. So in that, government also now they are realizing they are moving for fastest phase, whether it's a turnaround time in customs or the shipment time or a number of ease of doing business, bringing down the number of compliances from at least export import from 24-25 documents to 3-4 documents, GST measures. We can talk a number of issues on government side. So everything is going up. But what I find from our industry side is, okay, we are sitting here today. So we are spending our time and energy. We travel so much time. Well, we go out of this room. So what is our plan for next 1 year or 5 years? It is the growth comes from the individual thinking. It's not government will do something like that. Even that solo model of theory, that economic Nobel laureate, he told, government is only a facilitator. All over the world, you take any country, the growth comes from the individual initiatives, from the entrepreneurship. But government is a facilitator, whatever the ease of doing business or facilitation, certification, all those things, it will work. That way, government is committed from both the state government, or not the state government means all the state, many of the state governments, and also government of India. Both are working in tandem with the industrial growth, and also they want to grow, want industries to grow faster, and that only they are bringing so many investment parks, industrial corridor, infrastructure, everything is coming up very well. So only my thinking is we need to break our mindset. Okay, come on, this is a time. This is now or never moment. We should take up the industry way forward. That is a way we should go.
Thank you. One of the common things that we always hear is that you need that ecosystem. India is lacking the ecosystem for the change, the footwear, non-leather footwear. And that is generally one of the obstacles that people like talk about and give as an excuse why we can't be on time, why we can't deliver the right pricing and stuff. Given that we have this vision, what is your answer to that? It is what we have. Then how do we face that?
I think it is a big challenge. And the challenge is, it can be seen as there is an opportunity to put this ecosystem together. What he is doing in in creating footwear production with in sports footwear, the same can be done in components. And I think there is a huge opportunity to, in these tertiary ancillary ecosystem, that is a large opportunity, because the world will definitely look to India. I can tell you this, I've worked with a German company. I know how the American companies think. They definitely have to divest from China. Vietnam is overloaded with about half of the world's sports athletic footwear being made there. And there are geopolitical challenges in going to some of the other markets like Bangladesh, which does very well in apparel but is also trying footwear. India is the option. So it will happen. The question is who is doing it. And I think there are people in the room who can do this.
Thank you. One of the other points that I'd like to hear more about is automation and digitization with this type of product is increasing. China is competing. We hear in terms of what Dr. Mohan just told us, that productivity is at 144 pairs or 145 pairs per person per day, versus in India it would be 15, 16. And he says it's because of automation and digitization that the Chinese are doing. They're not sitting around saying, oh, we are going to lose this. They're also going to do whatever is necessary to compete, and they are doing it by automating. What would you say, how do we compete against that?
Yeah, I want to talk about component, and then I'll answer this also, because component is my dream. I got it through Mr. Morgan and Rongjong, and after understanding it, my total dream project is not making 10 factories, making a component cluster. We have started, and our cluster, we have already 5 component world leading manufacturers come in the component cluster. And I'm not planning it in Perambalur alone, we are planning it all over India. This will be the first model we will do in Perambalur. Then we will take this model everywhere, where since we are having a lot of challenge, but if that component cluster ecosystem comes, then that will change Indian market. Definitely it will change the entire scale. So we are working towards that. So when I heard this from my brother, so I'm very happy that we are doing it. So very soon the first factory inauguration will be there. So I will invite everybody in the industry. So ecosystem, very, very important and very hard. I worked very hard and convinced, and a lot of people, Dr. Morgan and Ron John, everybody tried to bring these people. The fear, the component manufacturer have to come to India. So we are sacrificing a lot. I'm buying land from Sipcot and giving them the land at the same cost. I'm developing a road on my cost and giving them a free road. The reason the component will change the market. India needs component in another 2 years. That all over India component cluster should come, which will change the market. So that is regarding component. And one more thing.
Automation and digitalization.
Yeah, automation. I think there was a delegation from CLE. Our ED sir has also joined. We took them to the shoot-on factory in China. Automation. They have seen the automation. Everything is robotic, 3D. Everything is there now. The way China is going towards is very aggressive. But the same way the cost is more. The machineries are very, very expensive. So automation will happen, but it can't totally change. They need human. Why Chinese, everybody, Taiwanese, everybody coming to India? The Chinese labor have increased. They are paying per $2.50 per hour, and here they get better labor. So there is no other go. They need human. Even automation is coming, but it is very expensive. It will take another 5-10 years to reduce the cost. Within that, we will grow more, and we'll be ready for automation also.
Great, thank you. Mr. Selvam, you were you had visited, and what is your opinion about how automation will, and the government also, if you can mention how the government support is there already in terms of incentives for new investment, modernization as well?
See, automation is bound to happen. You can't avoid that one. See, end of the day, every industry needs to be competitive. Actually, we are competing with the global players. So automation is bound to happen. But still we have more than 1 billion hands, around 6 million youth population, we have more than 1 billion hands. As Mr. Rafiq told, still we can get the better quality wise. We can get the better quality with the same existing manpower. Even that factory we visited, they went for automation 20 years back. It's not like that. It's not like they went today or something like that. So it will also take long time. And the second part you asked about the government side. Government is always supporting. For example, Government of India sanctioned 1,700 crore. It is about modernization including from power generation, solar power, wind power, and going for effluent treatment. The world best technologies are here. So it is going in a best way. So automation will go simultaneously, government also supporting, and it is also necessity. And being the fashion industry, we should go for it.
This is not like, okay, we need to automate everything like China has done because of the stage of our business. Number two, if you have a scale like what he is building or what they are building, you will need a lot of automation because you have the depth to play on the business. Our company Agilitas acquired India's largest sports footwear manufacturer for the domestic market called Mochiko Shoes. There we've played with very low margin, low depth, because you have to make so many SKUs for the Indian market. It's a completely different engine. It's a completely different animal in a lot of ways, right? And in that, you are always have to say that how long is the line, to balance the line and how long. You have to also see that to look at the ROI in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways, because Indian labor costs are not like China, right? It might make sense to have an absolute hybrid and staged approach, right? Otherwise, I can tell you, just automating factories, like today Mochiko has a double-digit EBITDA margin, it will just go off like this if we were to automate everything else. Because the nature of the production line is like that, the nature of the business is like that. So a lot depends on the nature of the business, the stage of the business, and the scale of the business.
I'd like to thank all three of you for giving hope to the industry and saying there is a big light at the end of the tunnel. The key messages are, to look ahead, to look for agility and speed. Change your mindset that there are obstacles, there are no obstacles. Think in terms of opportunity is there for all, and most importantly, collaborate, look for collaboration. You don't need to do it all alone. You're not alone. Look for collaboration. Look among ourselves for collaboration. It doesn't mean collaboration only has to come from Taiwanese. It can also be among ourselves. So it's been an absolutely inspiring talk. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. Thank you.